Hi everyone, in this video we want to learn as long as in English. And if you have been studying English for some years, you know that as long as have different meaning and it has different functions. For example, as long as can be used in comparison sentences. As long as can be used as a time expression. As long as can be used in conditional sentences. So there are many different uses to as long as that we want to go over in this video. Well, let's start. Let's get down to it. First, we want to study a passage containing different sorts of as long as. I remember that boring ceremony as long as I studied at this university. The introduction ceremony was as long as 4 hours. It was too long. It was as long as 4 hours. We had to sit through the whole ceremony. Finally, someone allowed us to go dancing as long as we didn't make a lot of noise. Each as long as that was used in this passage has a different meaning. So, we're gonna get back here and understand the different meaning of as long as in this passage, but first we need to study as long as meaning comparison. Here, the rule book of this game is as long as a novel. We are comparing the rule book of a game with a novel, and they are as long as each other. They're both long, same as each other. So they are as long as each other. Next sentence. The petrol line, the queue, is as long as the whole street. So there were many cars waiting in the queue for the turn to fill up their tank, and the petrol line, the line of people waiting to fill up their tank, is as long as the whole street. So they were the same length. This is as long as meaning comparison. Well, my hand is as long as 3 rulers. Now, 1, 2, 3. The road is as long as 200 cars. It means this is the road and these are cars. If we put 200 cars in one row, we can feel the whole road. This road is as long as 200 cars. This was as long as meaning comparison, functioning as to compare two things. And we can use as long as by the meaning of for the duration of, or for the period of, for the duration of, or for the period of. For example, I'll remember you as long as I live here. I'll remember you as long as I live here. It means for the period of time that I live here, for the duration of time that I live here. I'll remember you as long as I live here. If you cut back on coffee, your body shows signs of caffeine withdrawal for as long as 1 to 3 weeks. So here you see for as long as is representing a duration of time. And if you cut back on coffee, cut back means reduce the amount of coffee that you drink. Your body shows side effect. And this side effect may be repeat, may be frequent for as long as, for this length of time, for this period of time of 1 to 3 weeks. So as long as here mean the duration of, the period of. The country won't feel the absence of the president as long as the young minister acts as an understudy of the president. Well, the country, the president is absent, maybe he's not in the country, but the country isn't feeling that as long as. As long as here means until the time. So as long as can also be a synonym for until sometimes. Until. Here we can say until the young minister acts as an understudy. Do you know what an understudy or who an understudy is? Understudy is a person who learns about someone's role, and when that person is absent, this person acts in their absence. They're their substitute. So a young minister here acts as an understudy to the president. You have to let the football players implement, means apply, use, the strategy, as long as they're winning all the games. So for the time that they're winning all the games, you should let them do what they do. Next. As long as, for future tenses, in the future, well, never use will after as long as. Never use will after as long as. You will be a perfect marksman. Marksman is the person with arch and arrow. As long as you will keep. I want you to answer. Will keep practicing hard on a daily basis. Read the sentence again. Which one is correct? We never use will after as long as. So it's keep. You'll be a perfect marksman as long as you keep practicing hard on a daily basis. On a daily basis means regularly. Next sentence. Here I want you to choose the correct form of verb. Nuclear waste dumps are not going to be a concern as long as scientists dig or will dig deep in the ground. The concept nuclear waste must be disposed of in the deep ground. You need to dig deep in order to dispose of the nuclear waste on the ground, and it won't be a concern. Nuclear waste cannot be a concern as long as. Until here, as long as can be the synonym for until. Scientists deep in the ground. Well, we don't use will after as long as, so it's the simple form dig, as long as scientists dig deep in the ground. Also, we use as long as to put an emphasis on the duration. For example, this meeting could be as long as 3 hours. Yeah, that was a too long meeting. As long as 3 hours. He is such an eloquent speaker. Eloquent is somebody who speaks articulately very good and influence people. He is such an eloquent speaker that he can give stirring speeches for as long as 4 hours without anyone getting bored. So we are putting an emphasis on the duration of 4 hours. He is so good, he is so perfect that he can give speeches for as long as 4 hours. Emphasis on 4 hours without anyone getting bored. Next, the sales rate reached its rock bottom, means the lowest amount. Rock bottom means the lowest amount during the corona pandemic. The market stagnancy. Stagnancy is a situation where money and goods are not traded or transacted or transferred. The market stagnancy persisted for as long as 2 years. Well, the corona and the bad situation of market stayed the same way, remained the same way for as long as 2 years. Emphasis on the duration of 2 years. On the condition that, now we want to use as long as to represent the meaning of on the condition that, or provided that. Providing that. You can come to the meeting as long as you're quiet. For example, I have a very noisy friend or noisy child, and that friend or child wants to come to a meeting, and I'm worried about him being noisy. I say, you can come to the meeting as long as you're quiet. As long as you're quiet. Most businesses give up as long as their first phase of advertisement is not profitable. Yeah, most businesses give up. They don't continue running ads because they think spending money on advertisement is a waste of money, and so they give up as long as their first phase of advertisement is not profitable. Here we have an ambiguity. As long as can mean until here and on the condition that here, the same time. So as long as here contains both meaning in the same time. Next. This machine will work properly as long as you use stainless steel in it. Stainless steel in it. As long as on the condition that, provided that. Here you see as long as means on the condition that. It means the machine won't work properly if you don't use a stainless steel in it. Next one. You will pass the exam as long as you study hard. This is a simple example. We'll get to the meeting on time as long as you drive faster. It means we'll get to the meeting on time provided that you drive faster, or on the condition that you drive faster. As long as he's thrifty, one who doesn't spend money freely and compulsively. As long as he's thrifty, Beth manages to get along on her small income. I think Seth is a boy's name, so maybe his. His. These things happens. As long as he's thrifty, Seth manages to get along on his small income. There is an ambiguity in this sentence. Until he's thrifty, so it can be a time expression, and on the condition that he's thrifty, so both meanings can be deduced, can be got from this sentence. Also, so long as has the same meaning as long as. Well, they are both conjunctions. As long as and so long as, both of them are conjunctions. And as long as and so long as both means provided that, providing that, or on the condition that. Bear in mind, so long as is a little informal than as long as. You're allowed to leave the office so long as you let us know your whereabouts. You are allowed to leave the office so long as, the same meaning as long as, but more informal. You let us know your whereabouts. Whereabouts means your approximate place where you are. You can borrow the car so long as you don't drive fast. So long as you don't drive fast. Let's retell these sentences from previous slides with so long as. Most businesses give up so long as their first phase of advertisement is not profitable. It makes the sentence a little informal, but it's still correct. This machine will work properly, you say. So long as you use stainless steel here. I want you to retell this sentence with so long as. We'll get to the meeting on time, so long as you drive faster. And so long as he's thrifty, Seth manages to get along on his small income. Bear in mind, so long as is not used for expressing time or functioning as comparing two things. Just use so long as in conditional sentences. Now let's get back to the first paragraph and see which one of those as long as we used there meant comparing two things, which meant time expression, and which meant mentioning a condition. Here, I remember that boring ceremony as long as I studied at this university. Well, here as long as is mentioning the duration of time that somebody studied at a university. So the first as long as is the duration of time. The introduction ceremony was as long as 4 hours. It's putting an emphasis on the duration of 4 hours. We had to sit through the whole ceremony. Finally, someone allowed us to go dancing as long as we didn't make a lot of noise. So as long as here is a permit. It's representing a permit. It's an allowance. So it is representing, it is mentioning, telling us about the condition. So we went dancing on the condition that we didn't make a lot of noise. Now let's do a little quiz. What is the meaning of as long as in this sentence? This trip will help you feel better as long as you loosen up and don't think about business. A, until, B, on the condition that, and C, emphasis on the duration of. I want you to write the answer in the comments. Thank you for watching. This was a comprehensive study on as long as and so long as. If you haven't subscribed us yet, we have a lot to teach you, so please join our community by subscribing us, dropping a like. And this was for now.